Viewer response line. Email us or connect with us on social media. Due to the length of the preceding program, we now join the regularly scheduled program already in progress.
Welcome to this week's episode of LdnOnt TV here on Rogers TV. I'm your host, Bronagh Morgan, and it's a pleasure to get to talk to people in our community who are serving our community in such vital and meaningful ways on a pretty regular basis, and tonight is one of those nights. So today I'm speaking with Executive Director of the London Abused Women's Centre, Dunn. Thank you so much for being here and taking the time and wearing your purple.
Yeah, I was going to dress up for you, but then I thought, no, I'm going to wear the hoodie for Shine the Light.
That is just the right thing to wear for this conversation.
I thought so. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, thanks for taking the time because I know it's a big job. You have a lot on the go. There are so many things that LAWC does to support women and girls in our community at the toughest times of their lives and beyond. So for those people who, you know, they see LAWC all over our community and all over the world, obviously, that really don't have a good, strong history and understanding of all of the things that LAWC does, can you maybe give us the short version? But I know it's a long version because there's so much.
Yeah, I'll try to sum it up for you. So actually, the timing to tell you this is really great. So last year we celebrated our 40th year of being open in the London community. So back in 1983, the doors first opened and started providing service to women and girls in our community. So 40 years ago, wow. which is wild to think about. So last week we just had our AGM event, and we were able to celebrate what 40 years meant to us. And so back 40 years ago, I mean, we provided service to maybe 200 women and girls a year, and now we provide well over that per month. We provide long-term ongoing counseling, advocacy, and support for women and girls over the age of 12. Women and girls that have been abused by an intimate partner or assaulted or harassed, women and girls that have been subjected to trafficking, sexual exploitation, non-state torture, and really provide that long-term ongoing support for whatever they need and meet them wherever they're at. So if a woman comes through our door and she wants service for housing, which is a big thing right now, or financial support or medical support, we help her navigate those systems. If a woman comes in and wants to meet with a counselor one-on-one and talk about what she's been through or what's happened to her, then that's where we will meet her, and that's what we will do. So we don't have like a cookie cutter kind of program of how we run our services. We always say, like, the woman who wants to access services in the driver's seat, and it's whatever she wants to do is how we will support her. And we really take a lot of pride in community relationships, and kind of, especially after the pandemic, there was a lot of, what would be a good word to use, siloing during the pandemic, I guess. Like everybody had to do what they had to do for them, right? Like, how do we keep our doors open? How do we continue to provide service in a safe, like, health conscious way? And you know, now that we're kind of on the other side of it, I mean, I know it still exists and all of that, but we're kind of on the other side of it. We're able to really focus on how we can work together again as a community and come together and provide, you know, when needed, wraparound support for women and girls that need it. So that's my condensed version of some of the stuff we do.
And so I think some things that I think are important for people in the community to know. This is not just for people who are going through some kind of an abusive situation. Even historical abuse are things that you can come to LAWC and find somebody to talk to and work through.
Yeah, so you don't have to, it's not that you have to be in a situation that is abusive or have an abusive partner right now. It could be you could have experienced some kind of abuse or assault or harassment or have been trafficked historically. There's all sorts of situations that can come up, but let's say, as in the example that I can use, let's say you see something in the media that might trigger something that's come up. We can provide support for that. So a woman can have, may have experienced something 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago and can come and access support for services. And we do work on self-referral. So we prefer that women call in themselves or walk in themselves. Sometimes, a friend might call to get information or a doctor's office might call to get information, but it's really important that the woman who is accessing service wants to be there.
Of course.
That's a priority for us. And yeah, so women could be experiencing something right now that is critical that they're trying to get through, but it can also be historical as well.
And one of the things I think that is so important about the services that you provide is that you're meeting these women and girls where they are. And so that wraparound care also involves, if you visit there and you need some help with childcare, or if you visit there and you don't understand how to navigate the legal system, you have so many helpers, so many volunteers and so many helpers in all of these different areas of the community that you really can provide everything, obviously not everything, but so many things that woman or that girl will need in that moment.
Yeah, you're right. And so if we can't provide it, we can help navigate the system that, that can provide it. So whether that's the criminal justice system or family law or literally whatever it is, we can help navigate that system. And oftentimes that's the hardest part. It's so hard to navigate systems.
Absolutely.
As just an everyday person like you and I, right? I mean, I don't know what somebody's experience must be like coming from being an immigrant in Canada. I'm not an immigrant, so I don't know. But I can only imagine how difficult it is. I know how difficult it is for me to navigate some systems. And so it's really important to us to look at things like that and how all of these things kind of intersect. I know something really, really big that is being talked about in London right now is housing and homelessness. And that's a huge conversation even in our organization. I mean, not, just because you're abused doesn't mean that you are homeless, and just because you're homeless doesn't mean you're abused, but everything intersects. The way that, mental health, addiction, trauma, violence, a lot of those types of issues do intersect. And so it's been, and I know I'm a little bit off topic of what you asked, but it's been really great to be involved in some of these conversations about what's going on in the city, and sit at some of these tables where we're talking about a hub for women and what we can do and where do we fit, how do we fit into this conversation, and who can we support, and making sure that these organizations know that we're here for women should they need it, because there's going to be a woman who accesses one of the hubs who will need support like ours. And so it's been really cool to be a part of something as big as this. And then to speak with what you said about childcare at such a basic level, sometimes it's so tricky for women to navigate things like coming to an appointment. What are they going to do with their kid? Especially if the child is not school aged. It might be easy enough to try to book an appointment between 10 and 3 to make sure that your child is in school. But at our organization, we offer childcare support so that a woman can come in with her little one, and the little one can play in our playroom while they're getting support. And so you have like very, very big issues like health and homelessness and all of that, and something that would seemingly be a little bit simpler of an issue like childcare, which can literally make or break, whether or not a woman comes to an appointment. And it's really important for us to look at all of those types of things.
So every little detail, and I guess 40 years of experience, that's how you can, predict, and that these things are so important. It seems like something so simple, but it's just so essential to the women and girls that need to access services at LAWC, and thank goodness that they can. So we do have to take a break, Jen, because I know there's something really big coming up in November that a lot of people know about, but maybe they don't. We'd like to hear some details about Shine the Light campaign, as well as all of other wonderful things that LAWC is doing in our community and outside our community as well. So please stay with us, and you stay with us as well. We'll be right back with more from Jen Dunn from the London Abused Women's Center.
This program is brought to you by the following sponsors.
Carbon monoxide is a deadly gas you can't see, smell, or taste.
Homes with fuel-burning appliances and/or attached garages must have working CO alarms installed outside all sleeping areas.
Don't let the silent killer get you. Install working CO alarms today.
Hi everyone, my name's Ranger M. I love to knowledge share, and that's just what I'm going to do with you. So come on, let's go learn with Ranger M.
Fire! The neighbor's farm is on fire. It's almost to the road. It's heading for us.
Help me get the animals out of the barn.
The fire's getting closer.
I'm on the horse.
The house is burning.
We're getting out to the river. Get up.
We can't leave everything. Careful! Don't fall.
Come on, we have to hurry.
Hurry! There's the river. We're going to make it. I can't swim.
Yes, you can.
Hurry! Hurry!
You must get in.
I can't.
Watch out for Spark.
His hair's on fire.
Keep their hair wet.
In May 1870, fires raged along the Saguenay River for more than 150 kilometers, destroying land and lives. One family survived by dousing themselves all night against the searing heat. One family, among the thousands whose resourcefulness and courage shaped the character of this land.
Welcome back to LDNOnt TV here on Rogers TV. It is November, and that around London is known to many people as Shine the Light Month. So we'll see a lot of buildings being lit up in purple. I know there's, when the trees get lit up in Victoria Park, there's a special tree that is lit up honoring women and girls and those people who are served by London Abused Women's Center. So tell our viewers a little bit about, you know, some of the importance of the campaign and how they can get involved.
Sure. So this year marks the 14th annual Shine the Light on Women Abuse campaign, and it coincides with Women Abuse Prevention and Awareness Month in Canada. And so on November 1st, we lit the tree purple in Victoria Park. So that signifies the start of the campaign. And so at this event, one of our honorees speaks about the story that she has and what she's been through, and then we light the tree to signify the start, and that tree stays lit the entire month of November, but it also stays lit the entire holiday season when all of the holiday lights are up as well. So that's quite impactful for us, because it's a sign for women and girls to show really that they're not alone. And so when members of the community take part in this campaign, that's really what we're trying to do, is to show women and girls that they're not alone. And so the whole idea is to turn purple. So wear purple, you're wearing purple, I'm wearing purple. We sell these hoodies and t-shirts and all sorts of things at the organization to raise money for the organization. There are buildings around the city that turn purple. All sorts of people participate doing different types of things. We have everywhere from like people dressing up their pets to like big, huge, well-known buildings and well-known people doing something to shine the light on women abuse. And so it's really amazing to see how far it's come over the years. And Shine the Light is really, like I said, it's to tell women that they're not alone, and to make sure that they know that we stand with them. And any shame or guilt or blame that they feel does not belong to them. It belongs on the shoulders of the perpetrator of the abuse. And women deserve to know that. And people need to believe women. So the whole point is to create a conversation, have a conversation, talk about it. You know, wear your purple shirt or your purple blazer, and when you can say, you know, I'm wearing this purple because I'm supporting Shine the Light, and I, you know, want to have a conversation about that. And you know, you can share information about organizations in the city that can support women and girls and that sort of thing. But that's the whole idea. And every year we've had an honoree for the campaign, sometimes two, depending on the year, and this year we have two amazing honorees, it's really important to be able to raise this awareness for not only our organization, but for violence against women across the country and across the world, really. I think, like, you know, the campaign itself, while it's an awareness raiser, it does ultimately raise funds. There are donations that come in. You know, we sell this purple merchandise and raise money, but the awareness piece is so huge, and it's big on all levels, from municipal to provincial to federal. And it's really important for all levels of government to pay attention to organizations like ours and campaigns like this, you know, because it's a nonpartisan issue, really, where, you know, everybody should be paying attention to, absolutely, you know, those that experience violence. So it's a really important campaign for us. And yeah, the 14th year, it's wild to think of how it started, really grassroots, and how it's grown over the years.
So the really serious issues that impact everybody, you know, let's just be honest, like everybody knows somebody who either has been served or could be served by London Abused Women's Centre. There are a lot of opportunities to get behind this campaign that are really meaningful, but at the same time, you can have a lot of fun involved with this campaign. Yeah,
you totally could, because you could, like, organize a dress down day at work if you wear, you know, professional, you know, attire to work. You could organize a dress down day. Like, that's something super simple that you could do. But organizations could have huge conversations around violence and bring that into it too. Like, you have organizations like the London Lightning basketball team does a purple game every year, right? Like, that's right. Big, huge things like that can take place to do this kind of thing. Also, there's a lot of course, volunteer opportunities at our organization for things like what I talked about earlier, child care support and that kind of thing. We have a very extensive training program for those types of things, and we always need volunteers. As a matter of fact, we couldn't run without them, from the board of directors, which is all volunteer-based, to volunteers that help us with events and in the office. It would be impossible, I think, for any nonprofit to run without volunteers, ours included.
And so, for somebody who's never been in the doors of LAWC and has never interacted with the organization, real serious and tough situations that people might be in, but this is a warm and welcoming and comfortable environment as soon as you walk in that front door. Wonderful people that work there like you. So your journey to becoming the executive director of the organization has been over several years. So can you talk to us just a little bit about the Jen story?
Sure. And we've known each other for a while. And so I think that, I don't know how long ago, Bronagh, but we've known each other for a bit. And you know that I started at the London Abused Women's Centre on reception 12.5 years ago.
Wow.
And so I was on the front desk, greeting clients as they came in, answering the phone. From there, I was able to participate in some special events and fundraising pieces of the center. From there, I went into business manager type role when our business manager retired, and then I was very lucky to be offered the opportunity to become executive director when the former executive director submitted her retirement. So that journey is really important to me, because I think it really shows that, you know, you can, I mean, I worked really hard, and I do believe in the work that we do, and it means so much to me. And I know that there were moments in my life when I was that person that did not know that the London Abused Women's Centre existed, and I could have used their services. And so starting to work at the London Abused Women's Centre and realizing all of these things was like about what we do and how we can help the community was really important to me, to be like, especially now, and especially when I talk about like after the pandemic and what that looks like. And I've said this, I feel like I've said this so many times, like it's almost like back to the basics. Like, how do we, you know, let people know that we exist, and how do we make sure that we are that comfortable, warm, inviting place for people to walk in. And I sometimes think that, you know, having that experience of being on the front desk is like, it, you know, is so helpful for me as an executive director to be able to remember those parts of my role and what we did back then. And so it's been really neat to be able to hear things from women that we provide service to, like that they like to come in and grab a coffee and sit and just relax, and they know that they're safe in our waiting room while they wait for their appointments, and that's really, you know, really awesome to hear.
Fantastic. It's great to see somebody like you that has worked in every part of the organization and rising to this executive director role, still serving our community in such vital, vital ways. So for those people who are watching who would like to get involved this month or any time of the year, how should we get involved this month and then going forward?
So at any point in time, you can follow us on social media. It's as easy as typing in London Abused Women's Centre, and you can, you know, Google these days is an amazing thing. And you can find all of our information there, social media, website. We always put, you know, on social media when we're looking for volunteers, or if we're looking for any kind of involvement from the community, whether that means we're looking for, you know, products like shampoo or diapers or whatever for women in need, or if we need some help with, you know, if we're recruiting board members or new staff or things like that. Also, all of our events for the month of November and on throughout the year are always listed on our social media.
So get involved with the London Abused Women's Centre this month. Be a supporter. And if you're somebody who's watching who could use the services, reach out. Wonderful people. It is a warm and welcoming space, and they will they'll meet you where you are and serve you the way that you need to be served. You deserve it. So reach out if you would like to get in touch with the London Abused Women's Centre, and please stay tuned because we do have our segment with a young person after this.
This program is brought to you by the following sponsors.
On the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, we encourage Canadians to pause and remember all that veterans have sacrificed for us, lest we forget.
Welcome to Treat Yourself.
I'm Jennifer Slay, the host of What's Up London. Join me each week as I meet Londoners who are doing extraordinary things and helping to make the city a better place to live. Watch What's Up London Mondays only on Rogers TV.
This is Rogers TV.
Welcome back to LdnOnt TV here on Rogers TV. As promised, our final segment, as always, we hear a perspective from a young person from our community about really anything that's on their mind, because that's what this platform is all about. It's about hearing about young people's opinions, thoughts, perspectives on the things that are important to them. We have Kate on our show today. Thank you so much for coming, Kate.
Thank you.
You are an arts student, I believe, in high school, fantastic Beale High School, downtown London.
Yeah.
Talk to me about what you've been up to. I think it's printmaking that you were chatting with me a little bit before before we sat down together. So tell our viewers about what you've been up to.
Yeah, so we're doing a printmaking unit in Beale Art right now, and we have a pretty robust studio in terms of what we're able to accomplish there, because it's I believe the school's over 100 years old at this point, and it was established originally for commercial arts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we've got a really big printmaking studio and a lot of different types of it, so that's what we've been focusing on. We have lithography with like big stone plates. We have lino cuts.
Lino cuts is like vinyl, I think, right?
Yes, yeah, and it's very similar to a woodblock style print, like one of the earliest forms of printmaking. And that's what we've been focusing on, is the earlier forms of printmaking and the history of it, which is really interesting because it allows us to get into a lot of the like pioneers and how they were changing their field and all of the sort of stuff they were able to accomplish with that. So, for example, one of the earliest engravers and one of the most prolific ever was Albrecht Dürer, and he made...
Beautiful.
Yes, yeah, he's very famous because he made so much money off his works because he pioneered a lot of techniques, and his works were able to sell for more than paintings even. He is one of the first copyright claims because he copyrighted a little symbol that he could put in the corner of his art so that he could, people were trying to rip off his works and pass it off so they could sell for more than a painting. And I think, so the main topic I want to address is like historical styles of art, and especially printmaking, and why people might want to replicate them in the modern day, because there's been a lot of that, especially within Billard, as I say. It's being the focus of what we're up to right now, because there's just a lot of fascinating stuff that happened in history, and one of my favorite periods of time for art reproductions and posters and that sort of a thing is right around the turn of the century when we were coming into the 1900s, because posters had just finally taken off as a respected art medium, and that was allowing for so many new types of style. Art had finally sort of moved on from the earlier idea of having to have religious or moral significance, and it could start to be art for art's sake, which was a big idea with the aesthetics and Oscar Wilde. That was basically his motto when it came to the arts. And so there's just a lot of interesting cartoon styles as that's starting to take off in magazines like Punch and stuff, and they can get satirical and their art doesn't have to be as literal anymore or as realistic. And there's just a lot of interesting work to kind of take from that time period.
And so you've been exposed to not just the practice of making prints at Beale, but also doing that research and learning about the history.
Absolutely. I found a very interesting book in the huge Beale library that we have. It's very messy. There's just big piles of books everywhere that I've been organizing while I'm there in my co-op. But there's a really fascinating one about Art Deco, which is the movement that came basically after Art Nouveau. And I really like these two periods because not only are they from an aesthetic standpoint just very gorgeous, they also have a lot to do with kind of innovation in the arts. So Art Nouveau was a specific school that a lot of French artists put together in the like 1910, 1920 era for the decorative arts, and they wanted to focus on specifically drawing from nature, a lot of heavy symbolism, and a lot of flowing curved lines. And so their art is incredibly unique in that way, and Art Deco is what came in the following decades, and it's got a very similar idea, but they're drawing on, they want to not take mostly from historical styles, but do something no one's ever seen before, and just have a lot of integrity and deliberate sort of work in their art. And I think especially in the modern day with like brutalism and minimalism and all these sort of more economical, literal styles, there's been such a return to seeing those kind of previous decorative arts that focused a whole bunch on the idea of like artistic control, integrity, and aesthetic design.
You just blew my mind. I'm sure I'm not the only one. There's nothing like just listening to a young person's perspective. I have learned so much from you, and I am a professional artist.
Beale,
yes, I am.
Now I want to interview you about your arts because now I'm curious.
All right, your turn next. So, Kate, now we have a deal that you're going to come back and visit, and we'll switch chairs.
Sounds great.
Thank you so much.
And I'll get to wear a cool blazer.
Right on. Okay, you can borrow mine.
Yeah.
All right, so Kate, printmaking and history buff. Thank you so much for being here. Also, Jen Dunn from London Abuse Women's Centre. Thank you for tuning in this week. Get involved in Shine the Light this month, and please tune in again next week for more LDNOnt TV.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.
I'm Nicole Martin, the proud ambassador for the Comfort Bear program. Comfort Bears provide these cuddly bears to local children who are terminally ill, facing trauma, or battling a serious illness. Every $20 donation will place a Comfort Bear into the loving arms of a child involved in our program. It is our hope to distribute 1,000 bears in 2022. Please join us and provide comfort to kids in their time of need.
Do you have something to share? Let everyone know about your next meeting, your need for volunteers, or your fundraising event on the Rogers TV Community Billboard. Send us your words and we'll bring them to life on Rogers TV